How's it going, everybody? In our next video in the VPN series, we're going to be taking a look at VRF Aware DMVPN Phase 3 Dual Hub, Dual Cloud. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at exactly how this all comes into play. We're going to start on CSR2, get him up and running, and go through all the details that we need to go through. I'm going to go ahead and jump out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our device here. We're going to go over to CSR2, and we can see that we have some adjacencies that were flapped and stuff like that. So on CSR2, we're going to go and jump up to global config. First thing we have to do is create the VRF. I'm going to call this VRF definition, so it supports IPv4 and IPv6 traffic. Call it IKEv2 _ VRF. I'll specify an RD because we will potentially deal with BGP in the future. 1:1, and then address family IPv4 unicast and IPv6 unicast. Voila. The next thing we have to do is do show run interface gig 1. And underneath interface gig 1, we have to type in VRF forwarding is going to be IKEv2 _ VRF, and then we'll reapply the IP addressing. Like so. Now, the next thing we have to go do is configure a default route. So we're going to type in do show run pipe include IP route. And we're going to say no to this. We're going to take that out. And then we're going to type in IP route VRF IKEv2 _ VRF and type in 0. Actually, we can just copy and paste in this value right here, like so. We're going to do that. Next thing we have to go do is we have to go to the IKEv2 policy and then point to the VRF. So do show run section IKEv2, and underneath the policy here says match VRF front door VRF. Now front door VRF is simply an interface facing the internet, and then an inside door VRF is an interface facing the internal network. If you place two interfaces inside of the same VRF and you're not doing any type of MPLS, that technology or implementation is referred to as VRF Lite. So you're placing two interfaces inside of the same VRF and you're basically routing with inside of the same VRF routing table. We're not going to be doing exactly that, but we will be leveraging the concept of a front door VRF or VRF facing the internet. We already have the VRF created, applied to the interface in a default route pointing out towards the internet. So what we're going to go do now is underneath here, we're going to grab this line of config. I'm going to say no match front door VRF any. If we don't, it'll squawk at us. Type in match front door VRF, and then the name of it, in this case here, will be IKEv2 VRF. There we go. We're going to exit out of that. And then the last thing we have, the next thing we have to go do is go to interface tunnel 100 and type in tunnel. Type in tunnel, and then down at the very end here we have VRF, and then the name of the VRF is going to be IKEv2 VRF. We're going to do that. Exit out, and you can see that Ike bounced. The next thing we have to do is do show run section IKEv2, and then underneath the profile, right here, we have to go underneath here and type in match front door VRF, and then the name of match front door VRF, and then the name we need to match on is going to be this guy right here. Just like that. So once we do that, we should begin to get our peerings back up and running. We might have to go flap the spoke side of the connection in order for that to work. And if we do, no big deal. But so on CSR4 side, the tunnel is down. We'll go to global config, interface tunnel 100. We'll go ahead and shut the tunnel down. And then we'll no shut the tunnel to bring it back online. And we should have 2 and 3 is back up, which is good. So we'll go to 5 and do the same thing. Oh, there's 5. 5 and 6 are both up now. So on 2, we have our adjacencies up and running. Maybe I was a little too quick to judge there. So we'll show DMVPN, and we have our tunnels up. And if we do a show IP route, we have our EIGRP adjacencies and all that good stuff that's going along with it. Now, in this particular case here, we don't have a we don't really have a default route per se, but at least in the global routing table, because this is what we're looking at. What you're doing when you deal with a front door VRF, but you don't place the tunnel itself inside the VRF, but you have an interface facing the internet in a VRF, is you're separating your underlay from your overlay. So in the underlay, you're just trying to make sure that the router has reachability to the internet or whatever the underlying transport might be. Where in the overlay, you're placing your EIGRP routes or your BGP routes or whatever you might be doing, you're placing those in the global routing table. If I was to come in here and do a show IP route VRF IKEv2 underscore VRF, we'll see that we have a default route. Now, the benefit to doing this is I've now separated my underlay from my overlay. I don't have a mixture of underlay and overlay in the same routing table, where I would have to do some sort of potentially weird routing filtration and things like that. By separating on a per VRF basis, I've now placed my underlay in a VRF and my overlay in the global routing table, so that from a end-to-end connectivity perspective, CSR2 sees CSR4's traffic is in the same routing table. If we were to look at this from the show IP route, we can see that we're getting 10.4 is coming in, 10.4, 10.5, 10.6. They're all coming in the global routing table as an internal EIGRP network, which is what we're trying to accomplish here. Now, what we currently have is VRF Aware dual hub single cloud, right? So that's basically what we've done. So not terribly difficult to understand. We just placed the interfaces inside of a that setup. So it's actually, you know what, now that I've mentioned that, I think what I'll do, I actually already have this running on CSR3. I used it to test it. If we were to do the same config show run interface gig 1, I already had that in an interface, show IP route VRF IKEv2 VRF, and then show run section IKEv2. I already had all that stuff configured and stuff like that, so I knew what was needed beforehand. So what we have now is VRF Aware DMVPN Phase 3, where it's a dual hub single cloud. So you know what, I'm going to cut this video right here. I know I said initially this was going to be dual hub dual cloud, but since I'm right here, I might as well just run with the VRF Aware aspect of it, and then I'll go in and we'll do the dual hub dual cloud in another video. Until next time, guys, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Or actually, hold on, before I do that, I have to test Phase 3. So let's go take a look at CSR 8, and we'll do a show IP route VRF S4, and we'll do an S5 as well. So what I'm going to do is I will do a show IP interface brief. I will do a trace route inside of VRF S4 to the destination of 172.25.0.8, sourcing from the address of this guy, and we'll do it numerically. We'll go out and see what happens. So in this case here, we're dying. Let's see what's happening here. Show IP route VRF S5. We are definitely learning it. There's no doubt about that. Let's see if CSR2, let's look at 4, for example, do show IP EIGRP, or do show IP route. We've only got one uplink that we're looking at. So one of the issues we have right now is 4 is not receiving the route from 25, right? We don't see that prefix in the routing table at all. So that's why we don't have reachability. So let's go take a look at CSR3, and we'll do a show run section EIGRP. So what we're going to do is we are going to say, underneath this guy, we'll type in router EIGRP VPN, address family IPv4, autonomous system 1, AF interface is going to be tunnel 100. We're type in no split horizon. So that should fix that problem. And then we'll type in a summary address. Or actually, I don't need that there. I'm going to go and do show history. I will take this line of config right here onto CSR2. and do that. So that should fix any potential problem I might have there. So 4 is there, so I'm not learning that route from 5. And 16, we're learning that route, do show run section EIGRP. We already have no split horizon and a summary address coming across. So let's go to do show run interface tunnel 100, and we have redirect is on. So everything should be working the way it was before. Why am I not learning that route in? So do show IP route, or do show IP EIGRP topology. Am I learning 172.25 from anywhere else? I am not. What is 3C? Do show IP route. Oh, I'm not propagating 25 for whatever reason. So CSR5, show IP route. I am not learning that prefix from 8. So let's see what's up here. CSR8 has show IP interface brief, show run interface loopback. Actually, just interface loopback like that. Okay, so show IP route VRF S5. Okay, so that route is propagated to 5. 5 should be receiving that route. I don't see it. Show IP EIGRP topology. So for right now, I'm not receiving the prefix from 5, or from 8. Show IP EIGRP neighbors. I have the adjacency up. Show IP route. And I'm not learning anything from him. So that might be part of the problem. Let's do a show IP interface brief. Show run section EIGRP. 10.5, it's there. Let me do a clear IP EIGRP neighbors. What is that? Gig2? Yeah, Gig2. Let's just clear the adjacency. Let's see why I'm not receiving anything. So I should be receiving routes 172.25 and I'm not. Show IP route. Let's see, CSR8 is propagating it, right? Show IP EIGRP. Let's show run section EIGRP. Oh, that's why. Router EIGRP VPN, which is what I think this one is. It is. So what's happening is underneath this address family, underneath here, I need to advertise network of 172.24, or sorry, 25.0.0, 0.0.0.255. That's why he's not receiving it. 5 will now look here, and I should have 25 in the routing table, which I do now, which is what I want. So 4 should now see that route in its topology table, which we do. And so now we're back to the problem we were at before, where we have do show IP route, where we have multiple ways of getting, and there we are. So now we're out towards router 3, which is what we need to have. So if I try to do that trace again, let's look at that one more time. Do the trace route like before we were doing just a moment ago. And so we should be able to get 3 to 5. And now that we've got that up and running, what should end up happening is on 4, if we do a show crypto IKEv2 SA, we should now have a connection to 5, which we do. If I go to CSR8 again and hit the up arrow, I should go directly to 5 because we have that direct spoke-to-spoke tunnel. So that's why. It had actually nothing to do at all with the hub side of the config. but that is VRF Aware Dual Cloud Single Hub. I'm sorry. Dual Hub Single Cloud DMVPN Phase 3. So there's that. Until next time, guys. Thanks so much for stopping by. We'll catch you guys in the next one.